What's going on, y'all? We got another important one today. Without further ado, let's get into it. Listen, take your time. Take your time. Don't rush it. The further you get in this financial journey, you'll start to realize a lot of life lessons and financial lessons, they all intertwine. And I'm talking about patience today and the power of compounding. If you feel behind, I think this video here is for you. And if you feel like your goals are so far away, I always say that you're closer than you think you are. This video here is for you. That's the power of compounding, letting the days stack. Listen, in this game, we got to view it like we on the 1 yard line, right? If you're on the 1 yard line and you try to get the 99 yards in one play, 9 times out of 10, probably 10 times out of 10, that's not going to work. I haven't seen a quarterback be able to throw a 99-yard pass just yet, right? With that being said, it's stacking the wins, it's stacking the first downs, first down, first down, first down. Listen, when you try to rush the process, you end up making it longer than it needs to be. And this here is a video I wish I would have seen at 17 or 18 or coming fresh out of high school, right? The power of compounding and letting the days stack. The earlier you get started, the better off you'll be in the long run. So simply put, compound interest is the interest earned on an original principal and accumulated interest over a period of time. This means your money grows at an accelerating rate, oftentimes described as the snowball effect. Because the interest earned each period is added on to the original balance, and the next interest calculation is based off of that larger amount. And this can be applied to investments, savings, and loans as well too. Listen, the man that doesn't understand interest pays it. The man that understands it earns it. To give you guys an example of how it works is, let's say you were to invest $1,000 into an account that's going to yield you a 10% annual return on your money. So once the year is up, you'll receive $100 because 10%, of course, 10% of 1,000 is 100. So you'll be ending the year with $1,100 simply because you invested that 1,000. And then in year two, right? The 10% is now going to be going off of that $1,100. So now you'll be earning $210 in interest because they're now basing the interest calculation on that larger amount. Which is why I say it's very, very important to get started as early as possible. Building off examples, I want to bring Warren Buffett into the picture. So Warren Buffett, if you don't know him, do your research. He's a highly, highly successful investor and the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. And as of 2025, his net worth is sitting at $150 billion. And the reason why I brought him up is because he's not the best stock picker, right? But he's the most wealthy because why? He got started at the age of 11 years old. Yes, 11 years old. He bought 3 shares of City Service preferred stock at the price of $38 each. So at the age of 30, Buffett's net worth was sitting at $1 million. Now here's the key part I wanted to bring up. 99% of Buffett's net worth was accumulated after the age of 50. And 97% of it was accumulated after the age of 65, right? Now let's bring Jim Simmons into the picture. He ran the Medallion Fund and he was gaining some wild returns, 60% returns on his investments, right? The largest in the game, while Buffett was only getting 20% back. But Simmons got started at 40, while I mentioned Buffett got started at 11. So Simmons, when he passed at 86 years old, was sitting at a net worth of $39 billion. While Buffett, as of today, is at $150 billion. Now, don't get me wrong. If any number you got is followed by $1 billion, you sitting on some money. You got money for yourself, your family, your family's family, your family's family, and so on. But with all that being said, Buffett is far richer than Simmons, possibly 3 times richer than Simmons, simply put, because he got started earlier, despite the fact that Simmons was the more talented investor, right? The lesson in those examples is time did more than talent, right? Buffett let the art of compounding fund his future, right? So I say all that to say, fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the process, right? Fall in love with the process. Take your time in this race. Stay patient, right? As I said before, life examples, life lessons, financial lessons, they all intertwine. It's all about patience in this game, right? Do what you need to do and let time do its part, right? No longer are we taking the home run plays. No longer are we spending any time in get-rich-quick conversations or watching get-rich-quick schemes. Listen, I've been there before. I'm speaking from experience. Listen, at 23 years old, as I mentioned, at 23 years old, listen, I withdrew $17,000 from my 401k account because I wanted to get into day trading and I wanted to take the home run hit. I wanted to make the home run play and get rich tomorrow. I wanted to get rich tomorrow, right? Instead of falling in love with the process, right? And in turn, I invested that $17K into day trading. I lost it all. I lost it all in the span of like 3 days, right? But it's a lesson learned. It's a lesson learned. It's all about making mistakes and bouncing back from them, right? It's all about lessons. We never take L's, we take lessons, you know? But with all that being said, listen, let time do its part. That is the art of compounding, right? I can't stress this enough. You guys gotta fall in love with the process. You gotta fall in love with the process. You can't view your goals as this high mountain, right? We gotta take this thing one step at a time. I always say the 1,000-mile journey starts with what? One step. You can't take an 1,000-mile step, right? I make this video for you to start now, right? We're talking high yield savings account. We're talking S&P 500. We're talking Roth IRA. We're talking 401k. Anything that's going to yield you interest, right? If you fund those now, the power of compounding and time is going to do its work for you, right? You just simply, it's a plug and play method. You put the money there, you blink, you just stay consistent with it. You don't look at it, you don't look at it. Over time, you look at the account and say, damn, that number's attached to my name? Yes, right? I want to bring another example to you guys because starting earlier is more beneficial to you than starting bigger. Let's bring an example into the play again. For me personally, what I'm prioritizing at the moment is the Roth IRA. So I want to bring that into example. I'm going to make a separate video on what the Roth IRA is and why you need to be investing in it today, right? But with that being said, let's take Jimmy for example. Jimmy gets started at the age of 24, right? As of 2025, the max amount that you can invest into the Roth IRA is $7,000. So Jimmy starts off maxing out his Roth IRA at the age of 24 years old. So the Roth IRA on average yields you a 7% return on your investment, right? So $7,000 at 24 years old. Now we have Ben. Ben gets started at 30 years old, investing $7,000, right? So Jimmy at 24 years old and Ben at 30 years old, they invest all the way up to the age of 60. So Jimmy will be sitting at roughly $1.4 million and Ben will be sitting at around $661,000. Jimmy, because he started 6 years earlier, has gained almost double his money over time than Ben because he got started just 6 years earlier, right? For Ben to make as much as Jimmy did, right, Ben would have had to invested $12,000 a year at that 7% return rate to catch up to Jimmy. Listen, I know I gave two examples on the age 24 and 30, and some people might be over 30 watching this video and thinking, damn, am I too late? No, you're not too late. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Get started today, right? No matter what, we're going to age. So when we get to that specific age, we want to be able to say, hey, at least I have this because I got started at XYZ time. I really want to challenge you guys to get started today if you're not investing. If you need some help on accounts to invest into, I'm going to make a video on that. I don't care if it's $5 a day. You might be thinking, Ryan, what the hell am I doing with $5 a day? What is $5 a day going to get me? Listen, $5 a day is 365 days in a year. 5 times 365 is $1,815. Listen, you got to $1,815 because you got started at 5. Listen, that's the power of compounding. Let the days stack. Let time do its job. As long as you're doing your thing, time will take care of you. Let me say it again. As long as you're doing what you need to do, time will take care of you. As long as you're staying consistent, time will take care of you. That is the beauty of compounding. It takes care of the heavy lifting for you. You just got to do what you have to do, and time is just going boom, stack them, stack them, stack them, stack them, stack them, stack the win until you at the top. You gonna make it. You gonna make it. And that's just why I like to take the patient and the slow route, because you don't need to pick the perfect stock when you're depending on time, right? Listen, a low index fund sitting in it for decades will always beat these hot takes, these hot investments, right? They go up quick, they come down quick. That's just how the game goes, right? Time in is a lot better than timing. Let me say it again. The time you spend in is a lot better than timing, right? Let time do its thing. Pick a conservative play, right? The younger you are, pick the conservative play. We don't got time with the aggressive play. This is a 12-round fight. You got to view it like that. The aggressive person, the conservative person, listen, if you aggressive, don't get me wrong, you may get a connect, you may get that knockout blow, you may get it, but that's not sustainable. Over time, the aggressive fighter, listen, you exposing yourself when you throwing those haymakers. At some time, you're going to throw it, the chin is open by, you get hit. Listen, you get hit with that loss, you get hit with that $10,000 loss, you get hit with your investment account going to zero, because while you staying aggressive, while the conservative, man, listen, the conservative fighter, listen, I go into the fight knowing we probably gonna get to the decision. Listen, I don't want to get hit. Listen, I'm playing the counter game. If they throw the punch, we kind of boom. That's how you gotta view it. This investing is just like a fight. We want to get to the 12th round. We want to make it through this fight, right? Let time do its part. Stay patient. Like I said, we're taking care of compounding. Where are you gonna pour that money? Number one, the first place we're gonna pour that money is the emergency fund. Until we need to get 3 months of expenses put to the side in case of any emergency. That's the first place we're gonna pour our money into. I would suggest, you put you set out a high yield savings account. You got CIT Bank, you got Fidelity. There's a plethora of high yield savings accounts you can invest in, right? You want to get a return on your money, and you can put your emergency fund in there. The second would be your 401k. I'm going to make a video on the 401k as well too. There's free money. Your employer is typically going to give you a match on your 401k, right? So invest into that. Compounding takes play in the 401k as well too, because there is a return on our money. There's some sort of we're earning interest on our money. I'm sorry, right? So the 401k plays into that as well too, because we're earning interest on our money as well, right? Now, after you funded your emergency fund and you invest into your 401k, the third place I would get started if I was you is the Roth IRA, right? You max it out every single year as early as possible. An example I gave with Jim, when he's 24 years old, he started maxing his out. Jim, at age 60, was sitting at $1 million. Listen, that's all you got to do. $7,000 over time can turn to $1 million at 60 years old, right? That's right around the age of retirement. You sitting on $1 million. And that's not even taking into account the houses you're going to own, the 401k that you're going to have built up. That's just simply with the Roth IRA, right? So that's the third place I would like you guys to start investing your money into, is the Roth IRA. Now listen, before I move on, I want to make sure that you guys really understand what $7,000 a year is. It's not to invest in a Roth IRA, you need to make a $7,000 deposit. No, if you don't have $7,000 right now, that's completely fine. As I said before, we're not going to view the 1,000 miles and how we're going to make that one step, that 1,000-mile step. We are not going to throw the 99-yard pass. Listen, $7,000 a year is what you max it out. Okay, if you don't have $7,000 right now, that's completely okay. That's fine. Majority of people don't have $7,000 sitting aside. That's not the point. Listen, break that down. $7,000 a year is $135 a week. Now, that's a little bit more doable, right? Do you have an extra $135 a week sitting around? Pour that into the Roth IRA. If you don't, that's completely fine as well too. $135 a week is simply saying, hey, making a couple cuts, and maybe it might be eating out here, going out a couple times, and all of a sudden you got $135 in your pocket that you're able to pour into that $7,000 bucket that we need to hit a year. If that doesn't work, cool. Listen, we're in the 21st century. Listen, you got Instacart. Listen, you got DoorDash. You can pick up another part-time job or overtime shift. It's just $135. Listen, you can DoorDash for about 5 to 8 hours and get $135 depending on what city you in. Listen, at max, I'll say if you're able to commit just 10 hours a week to DoorDash, $135. That's $135 a week you're able to do and pour into that Roth IRA. Whenever, if you take the DoorDash route, listen, you gotta be happy doing that. Man, listen, when you taking them orders and you picking that order up from McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, whatever the case may be, you gotta do it with the biggest smile, because you realizing, yo, me DoorDashing right now is $1 million play. Listen, if I just keep getting this $135 a week and I pour it into this Roth IRA, I'm getting this 7% return on my investment. Listen, $7,000 over time. Listen, that's $1 million play. You can't be too prideful to take up some of these side gigs, because when you got a plan, it gets fun. Listen, I still DoorDash on the side right now because I got a plan. So I know when I'm DoorDashing, I'm in my head like, yo, this is $1 million play. This is $1 million play because, listen, this $135 I'm getting a week is going to amount to $7,000 in a year, and then I'm going to get that 7% return. And then over time, I'm 60 years old, I'm sitting on $1 million just in my Roth IRA. We're not even taking into account all the other investments that we're making. Listen, you got to get excited about this. The game is too easy once you start applying it and letting time do its part, right? And so I want to close off by saying compounding is not just about money, right? Compounding is about reps in the gym. It's about networking. It's about studying. It's about applying yourself daily and letting time do its part, right? We got to let these days stack. We got to do each day and let time do its part, right? Get started today. Get started today. Listen, as soon as this video ends, make your withdrawal. I don't care if it's $10, $20, 2 cents, $200. Withdraw that and throw it into some of these accounts that you're going to be able to gain some interest from. Because listen, simply put, with compounding, you just let the days stack and you let time do its part. Because with compounding, the calendar does the heavy lifting for you. With all that being said, man, listen, like, comment, and subscribe as always. Leave your suggestions below. Hey, I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.